Hey guys, hope everybody is doing okay. So today I want to do a follow-up to the video that I did yesterday, but I really want to focus in on Tekken because I have seen some things since I did that video that I really heavily disagree with and even want to criticize. And I'm not here to particularly call anybody out in particular, but I do feel like there's a couple talking points that are being peddled that I find a little bit silly and I don't think makes any real sense. Now, what I do want to start off by saying is that this Tekken boycott website is picking up a lot of steam. I think like 5 or 6,000 people have signed up to it. I haven't put my name on it myself, but I've been using my YouTube channel to do not a boycott, but I'm not really playing Tekken 8. I'm not doing streams for Tekken 8. I'm playing other games. I'm not even really playing Tekken 7. I'm playing Bleach, to be honest with you. So I'm not doing a boycott. I'm not going around telling people to stop playing, but I'm also not telling people how to boycott. If you're dissatisfied with Tekken and you think the website is the best way to voice your concerns and you feel like it's going to do something, go ahead and do it. It's not cringe. You just don't like the product. I know there's a lot of people that are saying, oh, these guys are cringe. They set up a website, but they're paying a lot of attention to these people that set up the website. Now, I don't know who set up. I have no idea where it came from. But I think constantly posting on social media that you think it's cringe that people are boycotting a game is also a little bit weird. Like the talking point I've seen from a lot of people is go outside and touch grass, but they're equally spending a lot of time criticizing people that want to use their time to boycott the game and sign up to our website. Now, whilst I didn't put my name on the website because I chose not to, I wanted to use my YouTube channel instead. I don't think it's cringe for people that maybe don't have an online presence, don't want to have an online presence, to just have their say by putting it on the website. Again, I don't know where the website came from. I don't know who created it. I have no idea whatsoever. And quite honestly, I don't care who made it. If the idea is to get the attention of Bandai Namco, and it does, more power to them. If it doesn't, then, all people did, I guess, was put their name on a website. It is what it is. But the amount of time and energy that people are spending criticizing those that are spending their time putting stuff on a website or making videos, you could also say by their logic is a little bit cringe. Like, you're telling these people to go outside and touch grass. Why don't you go outside and touch grass? Why are you concerned with what other people are doing? If you like Tekken 8, and I'm sure there's loads of people that do, play it. Why are you engaging in the conversation? It has nothing to do with you. You like the season. Play the season. You're out here calling people cringe because they don't like something and they want to voice their concerns about it, and then spending all your time pushing back on that when you could just be playing the game. There's also this other thing that I saw, and again, I don't want to call anybody out because it would probably be pointless anyway, but I saw these comments being made over and over again where it was like, these people will spend their time boycotting a game, but they won't even boycott, and then they said insert some sort of political situation happening around the world, or something happening in America, or something happening in Asia or Africa or whatever, some serious real world situation. The sentence was essentially, they will boycott a video game, they'll spend their time boycotting a video game, but they won't boycott company X for supporting this particular country. And I'm sitting there and I'm reading it and I'm like, do you know what? People that say those things, I know they feel like they're up here and everybody else is down here, but really, your IQ is down here. If you run a gaming channel, why the hell are you going to talk about geopolitics? Why are you going to talk about a war? You know, when you go to the movies and you just want to escape the world, you just want to lock into that movie. You don't want to hear about any sort of movement, any sort of activism, any sort of politics. You just want to watch that film. And some of these films, they want to cram a political message down your throat. And you're sitting there and you're like, man, I came to enjoy a fantasy. Why am I listening to this shit? That's essentially how I see YouTube channels. I don't think that YouTubers, or more specifically, Tekken content creators or variety streamers within the FGC just do that all day, every day. I don't think that's the case for most people. It's certainly not the case for me. So when this camera turns on, for the time that I'm recording this, that is the amount of time that I'm spending looking into what is going on here, unless it's a bigger story. Obviously, I'll watch streams because this is where I got it from, or I'll watch videos, but there's other things going on in the world. The idea that because we are voicing our concern about a game, it doesn't mean that maybe we're not being charitable to people around the world, or we're not helping people in different areas, or we're not doing something more meaningful with our lives. And you'll have these people in the comment section, these no-face people, in this instance, a faced person, saying these people are spending all their time boycotting Tekken on their YouTube channels or whatever, but they won't spend time doing this. I'm just like, okay, so do you know what? There's more serious things going on in the world. Every single person that thinks like that, abandon the theme of your YouTube channel and just talk about that. Like, if I'm going to the main man's channel, I don't want to get a political message from his country. If I go to FDX's video, I don't want to get a political message from him. There's times and places to talk about things, and a lot of the time, these people that say that don't even know half the things that are going on around the world. They only know the mainstream things. There are terrible things happening every single day. I mean, we just saw a devastating earthquake in Thailand, and my heart aches for those people. It sucks, and there's a lot of terrible things happening around the world. There's bad things happening in Africa right now. We still have slaves in the modern world. There are still human slaves, but these are Tekken channels. So obviously, Tekken content creators are going to talk about Tekken. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you people, and it usually comes from faceless people. In this instance, it didn't. But I'm just like, what planet are you on? If I go to a Formula 1 channel, I want to hear about Lewis Hamilton. If I go to a wrestling channel, I'm trying to see who's in the Hall of Fame this year. If I go to watch Match of the Day, I'm trying to see who won, Arsenal or Manchester United. I think you guys misunderstand what is happening here. These are Tekken channels, so they're going to talk about Tekken. And when they upload, whether that's 1, 2 or 3 times a day, or whether they're streaming for 5 hours in that day, they're going to be talking about Tekken. Don't do all this moral grandstanding about advocating for X, Y, and Z and boycotting this, when half of you that are saying that don't even know half the things that are happening around the world. You know the major ones. You know the ones that appear on Piers Morgan. You know the ones that appear on CNN or Sky News or Fox News. But you don't know everything. There are terrible things happening in places you never even heard of. And next you'll say, well, I didn't know. If I knew, I would say something. I guarantee you, there's things that these people know. Obviously, we all know. Horrible things happening around the world. You don't come to my Tekken channel to hear about it, okay? So for the people that keep on saying that, please take your heads out of your asses and realize where you are. If you want to hear about Tiger Woods, go to a golfing channel. If you want to watch Gideon make fun of child predators, you go to Gideon's channel. I'm not going to be talking about it here, am I? I'll never understand these talking points. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about is something that the Fury brought up to me. Obviously, you guys probably know who the Fury is. He's old school Tekken YouTuber. He's been on here for ages. I really appreciate his videos, and I've spoken to him a couple of times, and he tagged me in a post. And I'll read this post to you just so you get the full context. It says, a small request to content creators and streamers. Please don't let the people who don't understand the game speak on your streams. The game is already in extremely bad shape, and if the devs choose to take opinions of these people as something substantial, it's simply going to kill the game. Season 1 was bad because of people like this. Some of the people watching your streams don't understand the game at all, and when they listen to any of the opinions presented on your streams, they take it as something substantial and try to convey that to the devs. Only invite the people who understand the game and can give a constructive, meaningful criticism. And he put a picture of Lawrence LG Gleimer, who was the person I had on my stream. Now, you guys probably know who Lawrence is because there was all that controversy on Twitter the other day where he was saying that there's counterplay to Jack's make some noise, and people were basically pushing back on him and saying that you don't really understand, and he was being very defensive. He felt like people were insulting him, and then he did a stream. I didn't get to watch the stream, but I spoke to him and I invited him to come onto my live stream to talk about it. Now obviously the Fury probably didn't appreciate that, and this is not a call out to the Fury. Like I said, I like his content. He's always been very polite to me, but a lot of people will say, don't bring on these people that don't understand Tekken. That's something that I've heard when I'm doing my Tekken talks, because I always like to have one person on there that is from another fighting game scene or doesn't understand Tekken fully, because that person represents the person that Harada is trying to go for. So us trying to ignore them or pretend that they don't exist doesn't help, in my opinion, at all. Now, there was a reason why I brought Lawrence onto the podcast, and there's a reason why I had the conversation, and there's a reason why I let Blackheart talk to him as well. So in response to that, I said to the Fury, I invited him on to argue his points and counter them, which myself and Blackheart successfully did. Lawrence is free to tweet on Twitter and get hundreds of thousands of views and basically go uncontested because he does not need to reply to a single comment. But when you have someone on a stream and you're questioning them in front of everyone with a much deeper understanding, you can dispel the noise. If you don't talk to people, they'll only believe their own shtick because nobody's pointing them in the right direction. If you don't do it in front of others, then it's very easy to rewrite narratives. If you leave them on Twitter uncontested, which is where this started, with over 100,000 views on their posts, that is what the devs are most likely going to see. I proved him wrong, and then Blackheart proved him wrong, and he backed away from his points. That's the reason why I bring these people on. If the developers are dense enough to see what happened and take his side even after he basically admitted defeat, then they were always going to make a bad game anyway because they don't understand the product themselves. The Fury responded to that and he said to me, I totally understand and you do have a point which makes sense, but I feel like it gave him more attention than he deserved. If you invite people like these, then be sure to counter them as soon as possible. I haven't felt this frustrated in a while after listening to such a dumb statement that you conduct the high in 2-1 string. So I responded to the Fury, and I'm going to reiterate this as well because I think this is very important. I get it, bro. It was jarring to listen to, trust me. But at the same time, we are a community, and even though Lawrence made some outrageous points, everyone knows now that he lacks the knowledge to be taken seriously when it comes to the game. But we are a community, and I'm still a fan of trying to hold my hand out for as many people as possible. And by the end of it, him and Blackheart were cool, and the stream had chilled on him as well. A lot of the time, people assume I'm bringing people on to farm chaos, but I grew up in the arcades where it's normal to try and make peace with your enemies, and I'm just giving them the chance to make peace with the community. You always have two paths. It seems to me like Lawrence ended up choosing the right path. I just give people a platform to make their case. They're adults, and if they want to start chaos, then they will. But hopefully, they see that there's a better road and we can all get along. Leaving people on Twitter unchecked actually does far more damage to these conversations than people realize. And that's the point that I really want to drive home, because that's a criticism that I've received from a lot of people in both the Mortal Kombat and the Tekken community, that I bring people onto my podcast to cause chaos. I've heard that quite often. And although the response to my podcasts are overwhelmingly positive, when I look at my like to dislike ratio, it's usually like 98% and above. And most of my interactions are positive. I have started to hear this chaos thing a bit more. And so I want to shed some light on that. And it's really to reiterate what I said. We're all in a community together. And there are some people that don't understand things to the level that we might. I understand Tekken a lot better than Lawrence does. And I understand it a lot better than quite a few other people. Same goes for quite a few other games. And if someone has a bad take on a game, I don't think as a community we should push them out. There's already enough dissension in the FGC as it is right now, and there are a lot of serious things going on. And if their crime is saying something stupid about the game, I don't think pushing them away is the right answer. I think giving them a chance to explain themselves and then telling them why they're wrong without disrespecting them is the way to go about it. Now, obviously, you guys have been to my live streams. There have been some people that have just been outright rude, and you know that those conversations never really end well. And I'm not going to stand for someone being rude to me, but I'm not going to be rude to them for no reason. And Lawrence wasn't being rude to me. Lawrence just had a bad take. And initially, when he started talking to Blackheart, it did seem like he wanted to double down on it, but I didn't butt in the conversation. People were watching that, and they were watching me eat my burger, and they thought that I was loving the chaos. But when I invite people onto my podcast, whether it's Lawrence and Blackheart or Afro Senju and James Hansen because they had their issues, I just let people talk and try to hash things out. That's the best way to hash things out. We are a community at the end of the day. We should behave like one. Twitter doesn't help anyone. And more often than not, when you get people in the same room or you get them on a live stream, they find common ground. It's very rare, actually, that we've had people on the live stream that disagree with each other and we haven't found some common ground. Now, if they go back to Twitter and start flaming each other, I can't really do anything about that. But these are adults. I'm not going to hold their hands. I'm simply providing a space where I can be some sort of medium between them, or a mediator, or I can just sit there and let them talk it out. Will chaos come from that? Yeah, initially there will be. And sometimes it will break down into more chaos. I'm not going to control what adults do. You guys are adults. If you can't sit there and talk to another man or woman with some level of decorum, then that's your problem. That's not my problem. I'm just giving people an opportunity to build a bridge. Now, in my case, I've managed to build bridges with most people. I mean, me and Blackheart started off as enemies, and now he's one of my favorite people in the scene. And with the Lawrence situation, like, we brought Lawrence on, he didn't understand. Blackheart broke it down and explained it to him, and it became more clear to us that Lawrence was more angry at how many people were just being rude to him, so he doubled down. That wouldn't have happened if we didn't bring him on the podcast. He would have stayed on Twitter. He would have continued to receive abusive remarks. He probably would have cussed them back. He would have gone into his own echo chamber, and then what? Now he knows that he was wrong, and everyone's cool. We can all sing Kumbaya. The problem is that a lot of people like to talk shit behind the screen, but they don't like doing it when they're looking at somebody or when they can hear their voice and when everybody else is looking. It's not to parade people around like they're circus monkeys. It's to speak in the open like we used to do in the arcades. When two guys had a problem, you would talk it out and then you go about your business. You either shake hands or you say, cool, we're not cool anymore, we ain't talking. So for the people that keep on saying don't bring people on your podcast that don't know anything about Tekken, I'm sorry, but that's not how things work around here. I truly believe in the aspect of community. And I think just because there are people that are less knowledgeable and very loud, it doesn't mean that we just push them out. Now, I'm not saying that as an absolute. Obviously, there are some bad people that do really bad things in our community, obviously. But if we're talking about a video game, then no, I'm not a fan of pushing people out. I'm a fan of holding my hand out and trying to build a bridge of those people. Because even if I don't agree with those individuals, I can still be respectful towards them. If I see them, I can still say hello, hey, how are you doing? And in Lawrence's case, if Lawrence messages me and says that he wants to talk, I've got no problem with it because he showed up to the live stream and we had that conversation. The same was with CJ, who was on the live stream just before, and CJ felt like I did him wrong. And there was a miscommunication there. And I said to him, look, I'm sorry, bro. I didn't mean to upset you. And we spoke it out in front of everyone. There was about 500-600 people watching. I said sorry to him. He said, well, cool. He explained his point to me. We had a bit of a laugh and we kept it moving. I could have done what most people do and watched his video about me, got really angry, made a long Twitter post about it, and then just kept the beef going. But I said, okay, jump on the live stream, we'll talk. And now it's squashed. That's how a community should be in my eyes. And that is how I'm going to continue doing things around here. So please, and this is not to do with the Fury, this is just using his talking point. Don't ask me to not bring certain people on. If I feel like there's a road back for them, I will bring them on the podcast. If chaos comes from that, then it is what it is. We're adults. Not everybody gets along. Guys tend to fight with each other when they really don't like each other. It is what it is. Now I want to talk about calling content creators shills and doing like a Tekken witch hunt against particular content creators. Do I believe that there are shills in the Tekken community? Yes, but it's not exclusive to the Tekken community. It is in all aspects of life. When I was very, very against what was going on in Mortal Kombat 1, there were a fair amount of content creators that I felt were talking out of their arse. And it wasn't that they were getting paid by NetherRealm Studios, but I know from talking to people that were very close to Warner Brothers and NetherRealm Studio that talking shit about the game did them no favors. Now, they weren't getting paychecks, but they're not in the good books of this studio anymore. And I know it for damn sure I'm not in their good books anymore. I mean, when Injustice 2 was coming out, I got invited to go and play it. And I went to play it. I was there with Foxy. I think we were the two first people in the UK to play it. I was using Black Adam. He was using Aquaman. I'm sure he remembers. And that was the last invite I ever got. And that's okay because I am not interested in sitting here and towing the line. You know, I'm okay not doing that. If I feel like a game doesn't need to be shouting that much, even if something's wrong, then that's what I'll do. But the way I speak, I understand that I'm not going to get opportunities from these companies. And it's not going to happen. And I'm cool with that. So when people call content creators shills that they're saying they're getting paid out, I don't think they're necessarily on payroll. Although some might be, I don't know. I don't want to sit here and assume, but what I think or what I believe is that you want to look a certain way for a company. So there's a way to criticize companies. And I've been told this by people that work in the gaming industry. Companies are okay being criticized, but there's a way to do it. And the more and more visceral and open you become with those criticisms, the less likely you are to get opportunities from them. So when I see content creators that are very close to the game and the brand and the company, I don't listen to them anymore. I don't go to their streams and call them shills. I just exercise some rationality. I don't know if money is getting put in their pockets. I don't know. And I don't want to sit here and assume. But I understand what public image is and I understand what perception is. And look, I don't even dislike them for it. Because, you know, I have a brain and I can work it out. I get it. You know, some of them have families to feed. And if they are getting a paycheck from the company, then they're going to say what they need to say to push the game in the direction that they want to push it in. It is what it is. Like, I'll call out certain things. Like, I don't think Bandai Namco have had any good communication. That's very evident for everyone to see, and they've certainly not been listening. But it's the same like when you're at your day jobs or your night jobs. You're not going to say something disparaging about your company because if your boss hears it, they're going to fire you. Now, with these content creators that people keep calling shills, whether they're doing that, I don't know. But I don't listen to anything that they have to say. I'm not interested. I get my information from other places or I'll just figure it out on my own. And that's not a slight on them. I'll watch them for like entertainment value. I'll watch them because if they're doing like guides on characters, those are very informative. But when it comes to takes on the community or the direction of the game, and we can all see something is really bad and I've got someone there saying to me, no, it's great, and they're being condescending, I don't get upset about it because I know in my mind that this isn't for me. Like, there's nothing here. It doesn't offer me anything. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, you shouldn't even necessarily trust me. Like, I'm a stranger on the internet. Trust yourself. You know Tekken. you can see what's going on here. Do you think Bandai Namco's listen? Do you need a content creator to tell you that? Do you need me to tell you that? You know the answer. So going into these people's streams and going after them and saying things about them, it doesn't really change anything, because if they are on payroll, they're never going to speak out publicly about the game in the visceral way they might if they weren't. And if it's for public perception, or if it's to be in the good books of the company, you're not going to go in as hard as you would. You're going to toe the line. So for me, I'm just like, there's enough voices in our scene that I feel are reliable and I feel will give me the God honest truth. And even if I don't agree with them, I know that they're speaking from a place of, this is actually what I believe on the game. And that's no shade on anyone that is very close to the product. I get it. People have families. And even aside from them actually being on payroll, Tekken not doing well, I imagine, doesn't do very well for the channel outside of talking about the negative things right now, because people are angry about it. And these guys don't want to talk about it. They want to stream it. They make money from streaming the game and people watching the game and doing YouTube videos or clipping their streams and whatever. And if the game is having a massive drop off, people are not going to be watching the gameplay anymore. They're going to be listening to the discourse. And you'll see a lot more people talking now because they can see where the views are coming from, where these channels are not usually commentary style channels. So there's that side to it as well. It's going to affect their livelihood. I don't really hate them for it, because at the end of the day, guys, we're all adults here. You should be able to work out for yourselves. You don't need content creator X and content creator Y to tell you. Now, one thing I do sympathize with is that people that don't know what's going on, these very loud voices can disingenuously point the conversation in the wrong direction. And that's difficult to navigate, because there's not really much you can do other than calling them out. And if they don't respond to it and they just continue pushing it, their numbers usually eclipse everybody else's, and their voices usually eclipse everybody else's. So that's a bit more of a tricky situation. But then I guess that's what the website's for, right? Because every time you type in Tekken now into Google and that website pops up. I've also seen some people getting upset because there's some content creators saying that you guys are all yapping away, but you'll be back on this game putting in 1,000 hours. And I've seen people getting upset about that. And I'm like, why are you getting upset? The best boycott here is to turn it off and not play it. And that would prove these individuals wrong. The only reason you would get upset about somebody saying that is because you are actually playing the game. When I read those comments, and I actually had one levied at me, they were like, oh, Mike, whatever, man, you're going to be back on the game. You guys that know me know, like, when I said I'm not playing Mortal Kombat 1 again, did I ever turn it on other than to play the Chaos Reign story because it was an expansion, I got it for free? No, I didn't. I never went back online. I never went back to the game at all. It was just to stream Chaos Reign so that other people don't have to buy it. So people saying it to me, it doesn't bother me, because if I tell you I'm not playing Tekken 8, I'm not playing it, and that's it. A lot of you add me on PSN, you see what I'm playing. I'm playing Bleach all the time. Anytime you see me on PSN, I'm playing Bleach or Yakuza. Now, I did say I will go back to Tekken 8 if the update is good. I've not abandoned ship completely like I did with Mortal Kombat 1. But cool, it's in a shit state right now. I'll leave it. Not the end of the world. We'll talk about it. And again, that goes into the protesting of Tekken 8. If you're doing a boycott, you can still discuss this game. You still want to do some discourse around it because you still care about the product. So don't let anybody tell you how to boycott or protest the game. Making YouTube videos discussing what is going on with the game is actually a very effective way to push some change. Going completely cold turkey and shutting down is not the way you want to do it. You want to get your voice out there. Again, if the website is that thing for you, then go for the website. So don't get offended if somebody's saying that, oh, you're going to be putting in 1,000 hours. If you get offended, it's probably because you've been playing, which again is fine. If you want to play the game, don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. You paid for the product. And again, these are the same people saying that you guys will cringe for speaking out about this on gaming YouTube channels. And they're saying that you need to go and touch grass. But think about how much time they're spending paying attention to all the discourse. They're only proving that they also need to touch grass. So don't get offended by these people that keep on saying that, because they'll watch your videos, your very long videos. They'll go to the Tekken website, they'll go on Twitter, and they'll reference particular parts of a long video. And you're like, well, okay, well, you sat there watching the yapping and the rambling. Why weren't you outside touching grass? You know, it's just a whole load of nonsense. If people want to do that, leave them alone to do it. I mean, you're not changing anything by saying go and touch grass. Nobody ever listens to that anyway. Now, there's obviously clearly an issue in-house with Tekken and the direction of this game. I mean, just from a leadership perspective, apparently, according to Moonsault Slayer, who was doing some investigations or detective work, Michael Murray is going onto Reddit, finding out who's talking shit on there and then blocking them on Twitter. And Moonsault Slayer did a whole thing in his video where he was showing that there's like a substantial amount of proof that these people have not tweeted about Tekken, but their Reddits are linked to their Twitter pages. and that's the only place they're talking about, and then they're getting blocked, or YouTubers or whatever it might be. And I don't think blocking people is the way Michael Murray or anybody else wants to go about this. I feel like they're just putting their foot in it. This is a very, very fiery situation, quite possibly the most fiery situation with regards to a game in the fighting game community that I've ever seen. And he just seems to be doubling down on his bullshit, and I just don't understand it. I don't agree with people sending him death threats. I think that's fucking ridiculous. But the internet is full of trolls, and people say mean stuff all the time. I mean, I've been onto Reddit. I've seen threads about me on there, but it's their right to take the piss. They could take the piss out of me if they want. Sometimes I read through them and I find them quite hilarious, and you just brush it off and you move on, or you read it. Sometimes I'll read it. I'll be like, you know what? That's a fair criticism. You know, you got to have thicker skin than that, Michael Murray. Like, going around blocking people because, you know, they made a dumb meme or they said something that was a little bit mean, you know. Like, I'm not saying the people that are saying KYS, those people are a bit mad. But a little bit of shit talking here and there, like, again, it's your Twitter. You can block whoever you want. It's just, from my perspective, I mean, come on. It's just, people say mean things to me all the time. You know that Mortal Kombat video I did like a year and a half ago now, maybe 2 years ago, I can't remember. That's got almost 200,000 views. I still get some people saying, oh, you fucking this, that, and the other. Who gives a shit? Now, welcome to the internet, okay? You guys asked for feedback, and you should know, like, if I asked for feedback, I'm willing to bet 95% of it will probably be constructive, and they'll be criticizing X, Y, and Z, or they'll be pushing back on things, and then you'll get a couple of really nasty comments. But I asked for the feedback. That's the thing. You kind of put yourself in the line of fire with that. I'm not endorsing or condoning people doing that. I'm just explaining the realities of the internet, because this seems to go over people's heads. Every time I say this, people are like, oh, Michael, you think it's okay. It's not that I think it's okay. I mean, you don't catch me going into people's comment sections or their streams and doing these things. So obviously I don't think it's okay. But it is what it is. Like, these people are not going to stop doing that. They're never going to stop doing it. And that's why they sit behind anime profile pictures, or they have weird profile pictures and you don't know who they are and they've got no followers, because internet anonymity protects them. And we don't want to take internet anonymity away. So just let people say what they want to say. Now, there's obviously an issue with Tekken. I mean, if you just look at the recent Evo numbers, Street Fighter has got more entrants than every single game on that list. Now, it would be normal to me for the other games on there. No shade on those games, but they're just not as big as Tekken and Street Fighter. But Tekken is a juggernaut of a franchise. I mean, overall sales, I think Tekken has Street Fighter beat. As a franchise, Tekken has more sales than Street Fighter. Now, obviously, Tekken 8 doesn't have as many as Street Fighter 6, but it's very telling that Street Fighter has more entrants than the entire lineup put together. And second place is Tekken, and they didn't break 1,000. That is a major drop-off from what Tekken 7 was doing. And this is a new game. This is a fairly new game, so there's clearly a problem. Now, if the team is truly trying to push this game in a casual direction, I say let them. Let them do it. Let's see how it goes. We can voice our criticisms, and I've seen some people saying that we weren't voicing our criticisms before and we weren't communicating. I saw plenty of people communicating their criticisms in a cordial and respectful way, and they got no responses. The only responses that Harada and Michael Murray were willing to give was people praising the game. So this whole rhetoric around we need to learn to be more constructive, there were plenty. I mean, we've done videos on it before. Loads of people trying to get their attention, just saying, hey, this is what we want changed, blah, blah, blah. No response. But, hey, man, great season. Absolutely love it. Fuck all the haters. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Like, obviously, the community is going to get angry about that. That's just not true. We have been constructive. And now people are getting more frustrated. And whilst I do think you should park your tantrums at the door, I do think that it's very evident that they're not listening. And that's why we are where we are. Now, like I said, there's clearly a problem with Tekken 8. There's a serious problem. To have those drop-off of numbers in Japan is terrible. And I've been listening to Harada talk about this mechanic was a mistake and this was a happy mistake, and we left this mechanic in the game and it's become a legacy mechanic. And I'm like, how many mechanics did you stumble into? Are we now starting to see Tekken's true colors? Was the genius that we had been led to believe was all of Harada's thinking just happy mistakes? Is it taken 10 iterations, 8 numbered games and 2 tag games to finally find out that you don't know what the hell's going on? I don't think that's the case, but the amount of happy mistakes that are apparently in the Tekken franchise that have been removed now is a little bit concerning. The 1,500 changes that they've made to the game, do I think that they can recover from this? The answer is no. After talking to people that work in the game industry and hearing about how much work goes into recoding and then doing it for PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam, and having to go through a whole approval process, how much manpower, time, and resources that takes, no, I don't think this season's going to recover. I really don't. I think it'll get better than where we are right now, but I don't think it's going to recover, and season 3 might be a bit of a hard sell as well. And this whole conversation has sort of torn the Tekken community in half. It really has, and I haven't seen this before, but even some of the people on Twitter, man, I've got to say, like, some people say some really dumb things. Like, I posted this clip of Anna, who was clearly shooting straight and their opponent had sidestepped and the opponent was being hit. And this person says to me, oh, they extended their hurt box. And I was just like,
I just need to see this low.
what do you even say to that? So then there's another clip, it's even worse, where Anna is facing this way again and this person is over here and it doesn't look like they've even gone for a jab and they're being hit. I'm just like, can you guys not see there's a problem here? Like, I get Anna might be some of your favorite characters, but there's clearly an issue with the character and there's an issue with her overall design. I mean, just take a look at this clip.
Oh my god, dude. Harada's vision. That's Harada's vision.
And I sarcastically put at the top there that we've always had projectiles in the game. I mean, Devil Jin was shooting lasers in Tekken 5 just like this, so what's the big deal? Because you hear that from people all the time, and these are people that clearly have not played a Tekken beyond 8. There has never been a situation like what we are experiencing in Tekken now. No matter how many times you show me a clip of a fighting dinosaur, who again is just boxing, he's not summoning characters from Turok or Jumanji, or you show me pictures of a robot, or you show me pictures of a devil, we have never experienced what we are experiencing in Tekken in its history. What is going on in Tekken 8 now is brand new. All of this nonsense is brand new to us, and it's a real shame because I watched one of Mirio's videos today and even he's put the game down. I've seen other people uninstalling the game. I saw FDX saying he's taking a break. Main man was streaming Street Fighter 6 and I was like, oh my god, we're actually entering an apocalyptic age of Tekken. Like, all the big dons are taking their shit down. And I remember when this happened with Mortal Kombat 1, Waz and Brusque Poet and a couple of others were just like, yeah, we're out, we're gonna go do other things. And I was just like, wow. Damn, like, you know, I know that I went after MK's head a lot like that, but those are really big names in that scene and they're just sort of putting the gun down. And I'm like, okay, that's what's happening over here now. A lot of people are just like, yeah, we don't see a road back from here. We think Tekken is gone. And Frame Whisperer might have been right. There might not be a season 3. I know that sounds crazy to say, but he said that it's going to turn into some pachinko or gacha thing. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, gaming is going down a very weird route. Look at all the controversy of the Nintendo Switch. I mean, there's not enough time in the day to speak about all the bullshit going on over there. And just today, I read that the GameCube controllers are not going to be compatible with Switch 2 games. So I was like, wait, so if they do a Smash Brothers game, or if I want to play Mario Kart on the GameCube pad, I can't use it? I was just like, what is going on here? And that's a very minor thing in comparison to what else is going on with the Switch 2, but that's a video for another day. It's like all the games that we grew up loving are being stripped of everything that made them special and turned into these cash cows. And the funny thing about that is that I don't even know if they're going to cash out on anything. We don't know how well Tekken 8 is doing, to be honest with you. I don't think it's doing as well as they made out. I don't know how many people interacted with the store, but that store must have cost them some amount of money to put in the game and to run. You know, everything runs on servers. And if you really want to protest this game and boycott it, don't buy anything in that store. I'm sure they're making a fair amount of money from that store. Don't buy anything from the store. If you're gonna play the game, don't purchase things on it. Don't purchase Anna. Don't purchase the season pass. These companies care about money. They don't care about me. They don't care about you. They might care about how much noise we make because that's going to affect their wallet. But if you want to see real change in this game, don't purchase anything and don't play it. That's all you need to do. That is it. And I would encourage people to talk about it on social media and be brutally honest about it. You don't have to make things up. And there's no need to with Tekken 8. It's a fucking shit show right now. So I know I went over a lot of things there. I feel like they had to be said. There's ongoing conversations from members in the community, from, you know, all sides of it, and it's very interesting to watch this unfolding. It's sad from like a Tekken gamer's perspective, but it's interesting to see where things are going to go, because you know, maybe from the ashes a phoenix will arise, you know, and they'll magically fix everything. I don't think that's going to happen, but you know, maybe Tekken 9 is going to be the banger we all wanted, right? Because Tekken's got that thing where it's like 3 was good, 4 sold poorly, 5 sold well, 6 sold poorly, 7 sold well, 8 sold poorly. So when you're like a even number, minus Tekken 2, you do really poorly. So Tekken 9 Tekken 9 is meant to be Harada's last one, so maybe he's going to go out of a bang and just want to make everybody really happy, although he's not steering the ship anymore as far as I'm aware. So I don't know, guys. It's a very, very weird situation. But to close this off, you want to boycott something, you want to protest something, you do it any way you see fit. Obviously, don't send death threats to people. That's weird. But if you want to sign your name on a website, if you want to make loads of tweets on Twitter to make some noise, or if you want to do some YouTube videos, or just not play the game, you're an adult. Don't let people tell you how to go about it. You do whatever you think is best, and we're a community. We will figure it out. It will be okay. Everything's going to be okay. I mean, my word of advice to Sega would be, now would be the perfect opportunity to drop a trailer, because as they're calling themselves, there's a lot of Tekken refugees just wandering around the place, not really sure where to go. Anyways, guys, have a good day. I'll catch you very soon. Take care and peace.